Howdy. I thought I would make a quick video on extreme political opinions and maybe give some understanding on how to avoid them. Now, first, I want to say that there are, what's the word, disingenuous people online that also talk about this topic that essentially their opinion is like, yeah, dude, political extremism is bad, but you should be a far left extremist. And that's not what we're gonna do. Not that you should be a far right extremist either, but both ways are pretty bad. And if you're to believe horseshoe theory, both positions kind of are the same or lead to the same. But again, that's not what this video is about. This video isn't about what beliefs you should hold. Nothing like that. This video is actually about sort of the mechanics of a political extreme view. So, one thing that people need to understand is that you might be in an echo chamber, and just hearing that isn't enough, because people on the right, think that people on the left are in an echo chamber, and people on the left think that people on the right are in an echo chamber. And so it's all about, wow, they're trapped in an echo chamber. And, they might not realize that they themselves are trapped in an echo chamber. You might be trapped in an echo chamber. And so I just want to explain a little bit about how you could know that. One way you could know that is if you feel like your side is always losing. People that are really invested in politics tend to feel that. And so that's something like the people on the, far left and far right don't realize, is that, your opponents also think they're losing at the same time that you think you're losing. Another thing you notice is that they'll consider, like a far leftist would consider like everyone like Republicans, or someone on the far right might consider everyone Democrats in disguise. That's another thing to notice. You'll hear people say like the Democrats are really right wing, or the Republicans are really left wing, and there are some compromises that certain members of both parties engage in, but those kinds of they don't make sense, those statements. Another thing to consider is I don't know exactly how to. There's this sort of generalization that happens if you're like dealing with people on the opposite side of the spectrum as you're gonna notice that there's some really dumb people, some really ignorant people, and you are going to be at first, I think this happens to everyone at first, but maybe some people avoid it. You're gonna start thinking that everyone on that side is this way. So a good example of this is like you'll read YouTube comments on a right wing or a left wing video, and on the right wing video, they'll talk about like how left wingers are, so ignorant, they fall for confirmation bias, they're not willing to actually engage in arguments. And you'll watch a left wing video, and the comments will say the same thing about right wingers. And both of those comments will have a lot of thumbs ups. And that's just what people do, is they think that, their opponents are all the same ignorant people. And, but if they think about their own side, they'll probably think like, oh, yeah, we got some bad people, sure, but, for the most part, we have it together. When in reality, it could be that for the most part, your side doesn't have it together, and neither does the opposing side. There are disingenuous people that you'll encounter, and the thing is, they come in multiple stripes. That's just a reality of it. Another thing that happens is people consider themselves the middle ground. This is really common on the news. And part of what happens with that is that they consider people that on their side that make mistakes, it's like it was just an accident. They didn't mean to do it. But if someone on the opposing side makes a mistake, well, it was intentional. They don't have journalistic ethics. They're out to poison the well. And that's really like what it is. It's like, you have people who are like, yeah, no, bias is bad, is what they say, but not totally, completely fooled, because they are biased themselves and they don't realize it. They consider themselves paragons, people to look up to, and they're not actually. They're just people who know bias exists and therefore think they know how to avoid it. In the same way, knowing that meth addiction is bad doesn't mean you're not going to be addicted to meth. If you've been taking meth and you're addicted to meth and meth addiction is bad, yeah, that's not enough to stop you. It's going to take a bit more to overcome that meth addiction. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. And maybe one last thing I wanted to say is that this is a little bit unrelated, but there does seem to be this sort of thing where uh, well, you know what? I was about to say something biased. So you can see that's how easy this thing is. It's very easy to get a hot head and be arrogant and whatever. So yeah, avoid it.